Hello, welcome to another Optelec Enhanced Vision product demonstration. Today I've got a range of anti-glare shields, UV filters. They go by various different names: light protection spectacles, blue blockers, but all the same they are mainly known in the market as anti-glare shields, and they are just as important as magnification or lighting that we've discussed in other videos in recent weeks. With anti-glare shields, they give you a much better experience for people with low vision who have reduced visual acuity. The contrast for people with low vision can be very much made more difficult by AMD, macular degeneration, in other words, retinitis pigmentosa, diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, cataracts, many different eye diseases. And the UV lights, which UV filters should say, designed to help in that. They have been clinically proven over the years to help people's visual acuity by up to 2 to 3 times magnification. So therefore, if you're using an optical magnifier, by wearing a pair of anti-glare shields, you can reduce the magnification levels that you would otherwise need by just wearing anti-glare shields. Another little known fact, which has been proven many times, is people who are using video magnification, desktop video magnifiers. I've certainly experienced people say that they still have the problems with the brightness settings with the LED lights which are built into all desktop video magnifiers. And in normal circumstances, if the video magnifier was still too bright, then obviously it wasn't serving a purpose for that individual. But by including a pair of anti-glare shields, these blue blockers, the lights, which affects you, me, the dog and the cat, everybody else on this planet, by wearing a pair of these filters, help reduce that glare. And that is what we're really trying to do with these things, hence the name anti-glare shields. We're trying to reduce natural glare from sunlight and also artificial lights from supermarket lights, from different types of lights in the home, etc. There is different styles and there is different filter colours. Now they're not for a fashion reason. The filter, the more colourful the filter, the less light transmission can go through. So for instance, a darker filter, something like this, compared to something like that, obviously this filter is much darker. That being said, because it's much darker, it's not going to allow as much light through as this yellow filter. As with most things with low vision, it's very much dependent on the individual. It's very important that the individual gets and tries on the right pair. And there is no clinical way of testing individuals. The easiest way still is letting the individual try a range of filters on, which they will know within 15-20 seconds whether that filter is better than another one of similar style and shape. But one thing that I pretty much guarantee is that they will find an improvement, they will find a difference. They come in 2 different styles, one being a wraparound. And as the name suggests, it wraps around the head, encompassing the eyes in a nice designed shape. And the other one is overshields. And the difference being is that they are slightly thicker, slightly chunkier. They have built-in protection on the rim there to encapsulate the eyes. They have filters in the side there, so glare can't get in from the side, from beneath, from above. And because they're overshields, like the name suggests, they go over your glasses. So even if you wear glasses, and I do, then I would use a pair of overshields, because then it doesn't prevent me from having my prescription glasses on at the same time. They are still effective. These are 100% blue blockers. But again, it's down to the individual. Obviously, if you don't wear glasses, you will get away quite happily with the wraparound style. They do come in different colours, like I mentioned. So like the orange filter is our darkest filter, and these are all particularly for people with AMD, age-related macular degeneration. A majority of AMD patients do find the yellow, amber, orange filters more suitable for their eye condition. People with retinitis pigmentosa prefer the red or dark orange filters. People with cataracts, glaucoma, often say they prefer green or grey filters. And again, like I mentioned just previously, it is very much down to the individual. I don't like to label everybody that, oh, you have AMD, therefore you must get a pair of yellow filters, because I've had the occasions in the past where an individual has preferred the red filter. So again, it's very important that the individual, the client, the patient, tries on a selection of filters to see which one's right. To give you an idea of different styles and different filters, the two that I'm holding here, although on the camera one looks a lot darker than the one here, actually they are the same filter. They are both 511 filters, which is a orange filter. The only difference being is that the one here has a 60% grey tint coating on top of the filter. So that one is without the grey tint, and that one is with the grey tint. With a grey tint, the visual acuity isn't going to be as sharp, because clearly the lens is darker. And I always say that when I'm talking to individuals, and they often say, oh, give me the darkest pair possible. That is not what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to reduce glare. We're not trying to make their vision worse by giving them too dark a shield. In most cases, the yellow filters are usually better for everyday use, indoor or outdoor, because they're not sunglasses, because they're not tints, they are filters, they are only filtering out UV light. They can be worn indoors, they can be worn watching television, they can be worn just walking around the house, doing normal everyday jobs. Obviously, with a much darker one, like sunglasses, you may find that indoors they are more problematic. I've had many individuals in the past purchase a pair of the standard yellow comfort wraparound filters, and then also buy a darker pair. And some people would say, well, why would they do that? Well, again, because in the UK we don't often get that much in the way of great summers, but when we do, then the standard yellow ones might not provide as much glare protection as they would on the, say, 260, 270 other days of the year when it's mostly gloomy and overcast. But if the individual's going on holiday to warmer climates, things like that, then obviously the darker filter will provide that extra UV protection. So it is a case, like with most things, maybe have a spare pair for those sort of scenarios. Again, it is totally up to the individual. But like I mentioned earlier on, they are vitally important to get the correct UV filter to work in conjunction with your optical magnifier or electronic magnifier. I pretty much will guarantee that if you're using a 4 or 5 times magnifier with a decent pair of anti-glare shields, will be able to get you down at least 1 times magnification, possibly 2, again depending on your visual acuity. I use a pair of overshields for driving. Again, in a scenario if you are driving at night, you're on a country road, then a pair of shields will help the glare from oncoming traffic, especially on a brow of a hill. It is worth noting that the yellow ones, the yellow filters, they're the only ones that you can drive in. It's not recommended that you drive in any of the darker filters, again purely because of the light transmission values. But certainly the yellow filters are suitable for driving. It is worth pointing out, because they are a filter, because they do change the colour spectrum, that not all colours are the same when you wear a pair of anti-glare shields. So for instance, if you are driving on motorways, country roads, that's totally fine, but it is normally recommended that if you're in a built-up area, in a city or a high street, is to take them off. Because you will find that within the city centre or town centre there's much more adequate street lighting, but just as importantly, street traffic lights, symbol colours, will not look the same through the filters, which could obviously cause confusion and ultimately an accident possibly. So we certainly don't want you to do that. So it is recommended that you take them off in built-up areas, but certainly on motorways, country roads especially, very, very useful to wear over your existing spectacles. The main difference between the tints and the non-tinted filters is the tinted versions they are not 100% blue blockers. Because the 60% grey tint has been incorporated into these filters, it does mean that they have a slightly reduced capacity in their overall effectiveness. It's that trade-off, like most things with low vision, there's always the pluses and minuses. Well, the trade-off with having a 60% grey tint on top of your UV filter is that it does take about 2 or 3% of the blue blocking protection capability. So these are 100% UV protection. These are roughly 96-97% UV protection. Again, it's that trade-off. You make the decision whether you think that's relevant or worthwhile for your own individual needs. I will say, going on worldwide sales, that the full UV protection ones are far more popular, but again, it's nice to have the option on that one. So all these are available through Optelec Enhanced Vision. Prices range, retail prices range from around £50 to £60. They are available on the usual 14-day money-back guarantee, because again, we fully appreciate if you are not able to try these filters in resource centres within local or national charities or even opticians, that it is more difficult to make that judgment on which one will be more suitable for you. Most people do try themselves on the C1 or the 450s, which is the yellow ones which I'm showing here. These ones are far more popular than most filters out there. But it's nice to have that peace of mind that if you buy it and then think, well, actually it's not as good, or would like to try a different pair, you can always send them back and try another pair instead. But these things have been available for a number of years, and obviously if there's anything we can help you with, then you can contact us on the usual free phone telephone numbers or on the website. My details, as always, are paul.bartley@optelec.co.uk, and my number is 07841 199 613. Thank you very much for your time.